All right, folks, we are back with another episode of the Channel Tracers podcast, and it is superhero team-up time. We have a special guest with us. You might remember him from the My Adventures with Superman episode. We have brought back our friend Trash to the podcast, aka if you follow him on Twitch, Elise Trash for Skinko.
Still a mouthful, I'm sure.
It really is.
Ayo there, everyone. Well, thank you for welcoming me back. I'm glad to be here, and I really appreciate you guys bringing me on.
Yeah, no, I mean, last time we had a really interesting just side tangent about Captain America, so I was like, oh, we gotta actually bring you on for the full Captain America episode.
Yep.
And oh boy, do I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah. That brings me to it. Obviously, this week we are going to be covering Captain America: Brave New World as our main topic, the latest entry into the MCU. I've already talked to Trash a little bit, and I've also just talked to the guys like post seeing it and stuff, and Trash definitely is on a different end of the spectrum than the rest of us, so it's going to be an interesting discussion. So I'm looking forward to it. But before we jump into any of that, we gotta start off our episode as we always do by jumping right into the news with Brian. Take it away, Brian.
Well, unfortunately, we do have to start with another in memoriam.
Oh no.
Korean actress, probably going to get this name wrong, Kim Se-run. But the reason why I bring her up is because she was one of the leads in a Korean show that we really enjoyed, and I think y'all did too, because our numbers are pretty decent for that one. Blood Hunter.
Oh, Bloodhounds?
Bloodhounds, sorry.
Oh, who was she in Bloodhounds? Was she the wife of one of the guys?
No, she was the main chick.
The girl that was part of the trio, right?
Yeah.
Right, because it was like two friends and a girl. And the girl was like the niece of the main guy.
Of the mentor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh dang, she was young.
She was 24.
Jesus.
Jeez, that's even young. It's way younger than.
Was it
a little bit younger than me.
Was it like was it natural causes? Like, have they said?
No, according to the police, limited knowledge is known so far, but seems like it was what's the proper way to say this?
Possible self-deletion. Oh.
Yes.
Dang. You hate to see it.
I will say that I did do some research into her, and she started off in the industry, not even a year old, as a baby model.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then at 9 years old, transitioned to being a child actor, and was in the industry ever since. But I think it was right around the time that they were filming Bloodhounds. She had an accident where, well, I say accident, but it was a car accident caused by her drinking.
Oh.
And luckily nobody was hurt, and she crashed into like a pole, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Korea, public image.
Yeah. Dang.
And even though she has apparently 2 movies in the works right now, Bloodhounds was the last thing that she did.
Oh.
Which, if you remember, she kind of quietly goes away.
Yeah, she does kind of. She does kind of just go into the background towards the end because, like, she leaves with the mentor character.
And part of that is because that once the public found out about her car accident,
they kind of turned on her. Oh.
Yeah, they wrote her out of the show because of that. She then also, after it came out, tried to do stage play, but fan reception was not great, and she didn't even get to do one show.
Oh dang, that's rough.
So I imagine that all that probably hit.
Compounded. Yeah, man, you really hate to see it because, I mean, showbiz is tough here, but they are really tough on their idols in Korea.
I think it was the lead dude from Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
He self-deleted, and that was after a controversy that came out from police finding a joint in his car.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. But transitioning to the actual news, this is actually a follow-up of a story I think we touched upon before.
Okay.
A while back they announced that they were doing a D&D TV show for Paramount Plus, and they announced this was separate from the Joe Manganiello one. Well, that one got canceled as well. But the recent news is that now Netflix has picked it up, and Netflix will be doing the non-Joe Manganiello one.
Interesting.
And the guy that's running things is relatively new. He did that one, I forgot the name of it now, but it was like the miniseries about the wellness guru couple played by Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Shoot. But I see a picture in my head, but I can't think of the name.
He did that miniseries, but the show will also be produced by one Mr. Sean Levy.
Oh, cool.
And he has not failed so far.
Yeah, I mean, does that also mean Ryan Reynolds is probably going to show up? Maybe. Who knows?
Well, he's only producing, so who knows?
Well, this is the D&D thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it blessed by Wizards of the Coast?
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Okay, that puts it 50% even. That puts it 50% for me.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, well, Watsy has been doing some very, very questionable stuff lately. So
trust me, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know. But I enjoyed the D&D movie.
That one was good
fun.
though. Yeah, it was fun. I admit that. I enjoyed it. The only thing is that apparently they also have one of the writers from the Veil Guard, and let's just say we all know how that happened. That went in.
Yeah.
But anyways, continue. Sorry.
You're cool. That's all we know so far. I highly doubt that Joe Manganiello is going to be attached to this one, not only because of him getting hurt from the past with his show, but also because he's a little too occupied with his own Netflix show.
Oh, he's got a Netflix show?
Isn't he in One Piece?
Was he?
No, in season 2.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. That sounds correct. That definitely sounds correct. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that sounds right.
Yeah. He's gonna be one of the Straw Hats.
One of the Straw Hats. We have all the Straw Hats except for Chopper.
Wait.
You're also
You're
missing a
thinking
few. For now, anyways. Until
like,
later.
Yeah, I mean, like Brooke and Frankie and stuff, but that's not gonna happen in season 2.
Also, Jinbei.
Oh yeah, Jinbei.
Am I thinking of the right name?
I like how you forgot about Jinbei.
Listen, man. Jinbei is great, but he's only really been with the crew a handful of chapters for real.
Exactly. That's why it's funny to me. Not to mention, half the time he was doing his own thing and in the fish people areas.
Fair. Did you find it, Brian?
Doing fishman things.
I mean, Jinbei is cool, and they actually name dropped Jinbei. Arlong name drops Jinbei in the first season of One Piece, so we know he's around somewhere.
Yeah, we know. Isn't he Frankie? Not Frankie. What?
Frankie shouldn't be showing up in season 2.
Oh no, not. He's Crocodile.
Oh, Crocodile. See, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Mama Crocodile.
We'll see. Oh, also just a side note, man. The actress who played Alvida, apparently actively lost all the weight. None of that CG.
Mm-hmm.
She just lost all the weight to play
yeah.
sexy Alvida.
That sounds really dangerous, though.
I mean, she wasn't obese though. She was big. She was a bigger lady, but she wasn't massive. She wasn't unhealthy big.
And plus with training regimens.
Yeah, I was gonna say look at somebody like Chris Pratt prior to the Marvel. He was a fat guy. He was notoriously the lovable fat guy on Parks and Rec.
Bro, but it's still it can go quickly, and then sometimes those regiments are really strict.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she's gonna need to maintain it. But I think that's really cool that she legit lost all the weight to continue to play the character. That's fucking dedication right there.
And that makes me wonder, if something similar is gonna happen with Kobe.
I mean, Kobe's gonna need to fucking hit the gym to get his glow up at some point, but he'll have time.
Yeah, because that's not gonna happen for a little while longer, right?
Quite a long time. He'll be good. He'll have plenty of time to hit the gym and get those protein shakes. Fucking punch battleships.
All those.
That is literally what they do for training. Kobe was punching battleships.
That's doing wild shit.
It was. Look, One Piece is the greatest.
And hey, we know that the TV show is not afraid to do wild shit.
I'm especially looking forward to season 2, with the changes that they've done, to kind of like that framing device with Garp. I wonder where they're gonna go with that. But now that we're done with news, we're gonna go ahead and jump into Screen Time. Screen Time is the segment of the podcast where the guys and I all talk about the different pieces of media we've consumed in between podcast episodes. That can range from anything from comics, TV shows, movies, video games, manga, anime, all that good stuff. I'll start. I didn't really do much in between episodes. I mean, I read 6 volumes of Radiant Black. I am fully caught up on the series for Radiant Black, and I did a whole episode of Comic Chasers. I did a special Comic Chaser one-shot. It'll be the first of these one-shots that I might do. I might do more of them to cover more independent series outside of the big 2. The Radiant Black video isn't very much a review. I don't go into recap or plot. I more so just talk about the elements of the story that I like, and I just kind of gush about it. It's awesome. Radiant Black is very tokusatsu inspired. If you like Power Rangers or Kamen Rider, that kind of thing, it's very much in that vein, and it was created by Kyle Higgins, who is, probably his biggest claim to fame, like within recent years, is that he was in charge of the Power Rangers comic line through from its beginning with Boom Studios all the way through the end of the Shattered Grid saga. So pretty massive. I know if you're not a Power Rangers fan, that all sounds like gibberish, but if you're part of the community, you know how big Shattered Grid was, and he did all of that. So a lot of those sensibilities are there. There are really great, relatable characters in our 2 main protagonists who share the role of Radiant Black, Marshall and Nathan. They're both really great characters. I relate to both in certain ways. Nathan is a writer, and I relate to him a lot in that respect. A lot of his inner dialogue with himself in his thought bubbles, where his writer's voice is like, nope, that doesn't make sense. That's bullshit. Forget that. Nope, delete that. That's me every time I try to write something. So I totally vibe with that. And Marshall is somebody I related to a lot because of just where he kind of is. Marshall is that idea guy who is all of his friends are out getting big boy jobs, making big moves, and he's just kind of stuck in his hometown, just there. And I was there for a long time, so I definitely related to Marshall quite a bit, and it's really good. And the other Radiants are also very interesting. Radiant Red is a middle school teacher turned bank robber. Radiant Pink is a Twitch streamer who streams her battles with villains, and Radiant Yellow is a wise older gentleman who is a former electrical engineer who, thanks to the power of the Yellow Radiant, can see the future. It's all really interesting. It does a great job of balancing these small scale personal problems and drama with this huge cosmic epic, and the art is absolutely phenomenal. You guys just definitely got to check it out if you are a fan of Power Rangers and just great indie comics in general. Definitely check out Radiant Black. I definitely see it going places. It has the potential to be the next Invincible. I really do think that this one should be the next up to get a high budget animated series from Amazon. Let's get Radiant Black. And they've already done little animated shorts as kind of proof of concept. I would watch an entire show for Radiant Black. It's awesome. And I caught up just in time for their new arc to start up this coming week. So if you guys have not caught up on Radiant Black, issue 31 is a really great jumping on point, and they have released a free the story so far kind of catch up little issue that you can read through if you want to just get the overall big plot points without all the minor character minutia. You can read that and be caught right up but I definitely suggest going back and reading the whole thing. It's great. See my video for full details. But that's pretty much it for me, aside from like keeping up with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and that's been great. So we'll go ahead and pass it off to Trash. Trash, what is there anything that you've been checking out that you want to highlight to the people? Like, you know, I know we've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been playing almost Marvel Rivals nonstop. It's just so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to them adding the Thing and Johnny Storm.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Johnny.
This Friday.
Yeah, this Friday. And they did it. I was so excited. They gave Ben the trench coat. I was like, look, I don't care about any other skins for the Thing. You better give him the trench coat. That is required. That is like his most iconic outfit of all time.
Yep.
And also you have to add like a sad rain effect, just following him around.
I mean, true, yeah, because that's one of the things that's best known for
like,
as well.
Yeah, the Thing sad in the rain in the trench coat. Fucking, that's iconic. Like I may actually use a tank character if the Thing turns out to actually be pretty good. We'll see. I don't usually play tank, but I'm definitely gonna try playing Johnny because Johnny's my boy.
And from what I saw from the character trailers, this is sick.
Oh yeah.
Like, Ben actually does, like, unlike other tanks, he has a move that, like, lets him move fast and get in the,
He has he plays very similar to Hulk. He has the same kind of jump that Hulk does. Except, you know, he doesn't have the drawback of shrinking down when he gets beat up
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and getting jumped all the time.
He is less. He does have less power, I guess you could say, than the Hulk. But then again, I think everyone has less power.
I mean,
than the
yeah,
Hulk.
it's the Hulk. Besides, like, it's always kind of been a toss-up between the two. Who's stronger? Like, they've never definitively said if the Thing is stronger than the Hulk or the Hulk is stronger than the Thing.
Well, like Stan Lee said, who is stronger when superheroes fight? It's whoever the writer wants it to be.
I was gonna say, or just whoever the writer likes the most. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to hear like Ben's dialogue. I'm just excited to like get the new interactions. Those are my favorite part of Marvel Rivals. Also,
I really want to hear what they have planned for Johnny and Pete.
Oh yeah, they're best friends. You know they're gonna have great banter. And like, you know, Rivals already got a good chunk of my money from the Fantastic Four because I bought both the Malice skin and the wedding skin, the wedding bundle. Even though I don't use Reed, I was like, you know what, Reed? No, we'll put you in your fly wedding suit, even though I don't really use you.
Yeah, because it's better than playing as the Maker.
Yeah, nobody wants to play as the Maker.
Bigot is someone that nobody likes.
You like him if you're an incel.
Is he one of those people that are like really, I guess, not so much? Well, yeah, sexist, right?
Well, no, the Maker is just overall just a terrible human being. Just he is definitively the worst Reed Richards.
And how did that happen exactly?
His dad never loved him.
Yeah. Basically,
that's the long and short of it. His dad never loved him.
So it's like Dr. Doofenshmirtz kind of thing?
No. It's like so main timeline Reed, his dad encouraged his scientific endeavors and but also told Reed, hey man, like, I think it's cool that you want to be a scientist like me, but don't be like me entirely. You know, be with your family. Don't do what I did and pull an anime dad.
Yeah, don't become
and leave
like
you for parts unknown. Yep, because
unlike Maker,
whose dad was a piece of shit who discouraged Reed's intelligence and scientific pursuits, and so Reed in the Ultimate Universe developed a inferiority complex, and so he always feels like he has to like one-up everybody and prove that he's the best.
Yeah, the original Ultimate Universe Reed Richards, who's the Maker, is basically, to be very succinct, like Jay said, he's an incel because his daddy didn't love him enough.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, yeah, horrible parents are gonna horrible parent, but there are ways to not internalize it. But Ultimate Reed did not do that.
Yeah, he completely internalized it, and like it just leads to a lot of terrible stuff. Like there is I forget who did the video that we watched, but like there's an excellent video. I think that Tony and I both checked out that like breaks down the Maker's character. It's really fucking dope.
It's movie length, that's for sure. I think it's
it was like an hour long. Yeah, it was like an hour long, maybe hour and a half. Close. Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
a long expose and one of the things that I love about this just character journey. I don't like the character. I like this character journey to make that abundantly clear because it's a fascinating one. He is a Reed that is excluded from other Reeds, treated horribly, and he is just the fierce individual. He acts more like main universe Doom than Reed Richards.
But the main universe Doctor Doom at least has a sense of honor.
Yes, exactly. The Maker does not.
Nope.
And Dan explains, to kind of tie it back to something that Brian talked about, I would say, was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, it was last week where he mentioned Dan Explains.
Yeah, where he talked about how main universe Doom doesn't even acknowledge the Maker's existence.
Oh yeah, because he's just like even worse Reed. Like I barely acknowledge the good Reed's existence. What makes you think I'm going to acknowledge you?
And there's also another added because Ultimate Doom, like Doom from the Ultimate Universe, lost to that Reed, who is the worst Reed.
Yep.
He's like, how the fuck am I going to lose to objectively the worst Reed in existence?
Yeah, no. He
also,
and the Council of Reeds literally deemed him the worst Reed in all of existence.
Yeah, and also he was so bad that he turned his Sue into that universe's Kang.
Also, just a fun little thing is like Maker has like one of his last interactions with Reed, like 616 Reed post Secret Wars is, hey Reed, and he's like, Reed, if you could do it over again, would you unmake me? And without hesitation, like he doesn't even blink. Reed says, yes, Reed.
And he's like, and he goes make his own version of the Ultimate Universe where he's like the linchpin of everything.
Yep.
It does horrible things to the Reed Richards of that universe.
Oh, it is. Oh man, it is. The origin of the 6160 Fantastic Four is so heartbreaking. We could go on a whole tangent for that. But speaking of the Ultimate Universe, Trash, was there anything else you wanted to add, or before we switch over to Tony?
Honestly, like I think it was last time that I was talking about this 100 Girlfriends Who Really Really Love You.
Yeah,
amazing anime. Season 2 just came out.
Oh
so
yeah,
the second
season did just drop.
Yeah, it did. I haven't been caught up on the show personally, but I have actually read the source material the last time we talked about that.
Yep.
It is very great, isn't it? I've been reading the manga like religiously since it first came out too. I watched
it's so
and the anime is also pretty solid.
It is excellent.
And in other like random stuff, I've been reading Iruma-kun, so there's that.
Oh, Iruma-kun is just great. I love it.
As do I. It's very wholesome, and I just like it.
That was also one that has a very solid anime.
Yeah, Evil Cycle Clara's terrifying. That's all.
Outside of that, I'm not too sure what else there is.
Okay.
Can't say much.
That's fine.
Well, if you think of anything, feel free to just add it in. But yeah, Tony, speaking of the Ultimate Universe,
I love Ultimate X-Men. I find that there is a mystery of how the X gene works in this universe, how it's like random circumstances that activate each of these like main focus characters' powers. I love the pun names because it's Japanese wordplay, which is more entertaining than English wordplay, in my humble.
That's not always true all the time. I'm not gonna let you hate on English puns. As a Punisher myself,
Yeah, I'm saying
it's an art form.
In my opinion, I prefer Japanese word puns than English puns.
I understand.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, and like
There are some that don't physically hurt my spirit, but I'm just saying the Japanese word puns don't hurt me as bad as the English ones do.
But yeah, just to add on, like I mentioned this when I first read Ultimate X-Men, and I talked about it on my own screen time. But I think like what I love about Ultimate X-Men the most is that like it is so different, but at the same time, at its core, it is still it has all the elements that makes X-Men X-Men, you know, like a group of outcast teens forming a found family, like in a world of humans that fear and hate them.
Yep.
They deal
And
with
it's
a lot of really, really dark stuff. Like, this book does not fuck around. Like,
I mean, opening is basically.
I would definitely say content warning for you know, those going through mental health issues, because you might not want to read this book. It could be a little triggering, given the subject matter that it deals with.
Yeah. The list of things can include are bad home situations, unalivings due to like bullying in a high school setting, and just other random crap.
Yep.
Just terrible implications.
Yep. And there's
like
there's just all these cool elements like Japanese supernatural cults, overall just supernatural stuff and mysticism. It's just.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is basically how the characters kind of react to their own power. They view them. Like, May is like all pumped and excited, like your typical shonen protagonist. she's so shonen protagonist that she's dumb as a rock.
Oh yeah, she is dumb as a sack of rock.
This poor baby has a 0, just a fucking 0. She would like the naming of the X-Men. It's like, oh, we got bad scores, and Nico be like, oh, I am actually smarter than you.
Actually, I am within the top percentile. Don't lump me in with you.
Exactly. What am I? But Hisako makes as a focus character, like a point of view character. She is actually such a relatable character too.
She's fantastic because like she is like the embodiment of like that weird transition period of preteen to teen, and like her struggles and figuring herself out are very interesting. And you know, I watched an interview that Comic Tropes did with Peach Momoko, where like her husband like helped with translation and stuff. And she talked about it, and she actually, you know, she was given X-Men by Jonathan Hickman, who's, you know, obviously like in charge of like running the Ultimate Universe, but like she herself has never read any X-Men, and she refuses to read anything because she doesn't want to be influenced. So what she's done is like, you know, the reason they chose Hisako is because as a lead character is because Hisako is one of the biggest like characters of Japanese descent that is connected to the X-Men. And a lot of what Peach does is she apparently like she comes up with the characterization of the character first, and then their power just kind of naturally develop from there. Like Hisako is a very scared, guarded, introverted character, hence armor.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I actually like that kind of process. It's the old adage of like X-Men characters getting their powers based off of like a personality quirk that they have.
Yeah,
and it's very aligned with X-Men.
It actually is very much more similar to how the FF get their powers than like with X-Men.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But all I'm saying is that superhuman beings get their powers due to like circumstances in their personalities rather than, you know, X, Y, or Z.
And as you know, like I am fully caught up on the series, and it just gets better from here. It reads like nothing on the shelves today in terms of comics. It feels very much like a manga, and of course it is done by a Japanese writer and artist, so of course, you know, it would have those kinds of sensibilities, which is really interesting. Something else I found out more from this interview is that like a lot of times Peach will have to like remember to insert dialogue for like Americans, because she's like, oh yeah, maybe y'all don't actually know what this is about, so like that's what led to the creation of the lexicon, which is this thing in the back of each issue of Ultimate X-Men where they talk about different pieces of Japanese culture and heritage that was featured in the issue.
And that in itself is so fun to learn. It's interesting. I enjoy these little like nuggets of information.
It's honestly my favorite part of reading every issue of Ultimate X-Men. Is like just flipping through the lexicon.
Yep, and I just find like the collection of characters that we have as our main characters, our main team of the X-Men in this Japanese setting, is a lot of like small scale
Oh yeah.
X-Men characters. The like
It's
not too,
it's none of the big names that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Those guys are being used in other books. Like Storm, like Big Storm, Aurora Monroe is being used in Black Panther, and obviously Ultimate Wolverine has his own thing as the Winter Soldier, which also involves a bunch of other mutants that we know. So we'll get to see those over there. So, you know, obviously Peach can't touch any of the big guns, but I actually think that's for the best because it leads to more creative choices.
yeah, and giving her like more creative freedom is actually more beneficial in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, like, a character like May. May is a completely original character, May Storm. And she herself is just a fan of Storm. And she's like, no, you know what? I like that. Storm, I'm going to use that.
And also, like, her whole story, like, May's whole story is, in all honesty, pretty sad.
It's very
like,
sad. It's very, very sad. But it's, you know, it's a song and dance we've seen before. You know,
yeah,
young mutant powers activate. Parents are bigots. Get scared. Kick child out.
Yep.
We've seen it before.
Like, child, what have you done? You have scared the piss out of me. Get out of my house. So intense, but it's actually, at least in my opinion, one of the more. It feels so intrinsically Japanese, yet also it could be anywhere.
Yeah, it's very
sort of.
It's very Marvel in the way that like it feels very like reflective of modern society. Very, very, very much like how the original Ultimate Universe was for the 2000s, right? Like, and that's what I love about this Ultimate Universe in general.
Yeah, I do too. And this, okay, before I get tongue-tied, from what I see from this Ultimate Universe, because of Ultimate X-Men, I am way more invested in this Ultimate Universe's like major events than I have ever been for like a main Marvel thing in a very long time.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, they've done a really great job with the world building for the Ultimate Universe overall. So.
Which, you know, it is actually kind of weird that we are in 2025 and the best stories coming out of Marvel and DC
are from their alternate universe lines. Yeah, no, it is. I do find that hilarious.
It's rather funny, but I think it's very, very fitting too.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, it's a lot more freeing for the creatives, right? They get to just like, you know, tell the stories they want to tell and like be like really cut loose, and you can really tell that a lot of these creative teams are just having a blast with their work.
Oh, absolutely. And one of my favorite things about Ultimate X-Men is Momoko's art style is so interesting. It's so wholly unique to a Marvel book in terms of its style, its like kinetic energy.
Oh yeah, she's very good at like she comes from, I would definitely say, like the Toriyama school of art, because she has a very good sense of movement and action.
Oh, absolutely.
But like very similar to Akira Toriyama in Dragon Ball. Like it, like you, as your eye follows the panels, you can just feel just the action just spilling off the page. She's also just very good at drawing up just very beautiful characters. In fact, you know, going back to Marvel Rivals, she is the one who designed Psylocke's Marvel Rivals design. It is based off of her Demon Days comic.
Yeah, that makes sense. And one of my favorite like overall things that for her art style is the facial expressions for these like
they're very expressive. They're very expressive. Like she's made it a point to where like she wants to be able to just tell a story through art alone, where you don't even have to read any of the speech bubbles. In fact, like that's one of the things that she struggles with, apparently, that she talked about in the interview, is that like she's like, I sometimes forget to write dialogue because I just focus so much on the drawing and letting the drawing do the talking that I always forget to write. Sometimes I'll forget to write dialogue.
Yeah, like a prime example of like her art style is just characters just like there's a moment in like the beginning of the story where Hisako comes across like the overarching antagonist of these first 6 issues, Kageyama, in his Shadow King form.
Mm-hmm.
And just the facial expressions of someone calling Hisako, telling her about what happened to a former coach of her middle school friend who self-deleted before they even graduated middle school, and how that coach deleted themselves from existence, and
as well as the other members of the basketball team.
Yeah, as well as but they were picked off one by one from how the story. This is like the first instance of that particular plotline happening. And seeing that man's wife expression, like coming across her husband's body, it's a mix of horrifying and dark comedic in terms of the way Momoko kind of draws those expressions.
It's an interesting contrast, right? Because Peach Momoko has some very beautiful, very cute art, but she also is just so good at creating atmospheric horror.
Yeah.
That it almost gives you whiplash, because it's just like, I agree.
It shit. Makes me, it's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what the fuck is going on?
And I'm saying this in like the best, most complimentary way possible, because I love this shit. Like she has some of these page turners that'll just have your jaw on the floor.
And one of the things that makes me very interested in this like section of the Ultimate Universe is how mutant abilities are viewed as it's neither the X gene, it's mysticism, it's a mixture of different things that could potentially give them a reason for their powers. They're all intrinsically related to one person in particular, Kageyama. Because when Mei ran away from home, or something to do with actually introducing herself to new neighbors, she ran into Kageyama's cat, who had like a similar like thing around its neck.
Yeah, with
similar to how his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And the cat scratch somehow led to her using her elemental abilities after the fact.
Yeah, like it hinted at that Kageyama has the ability to unlock people's mutant powers.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's very fascinating.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's very, very interesting. Like that's actually still the current mystery. So I can't even mention any spoilers. Like that we're still trying to piece that one together. They have where I'm at in the story, they have like made a lot of headway of explaining kind of the origin of mutants in this Ultimate Universe. And it ties back to everybody's favorite Canadian.
Of course.
And genetic experimentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that makes a lot more sense than we give it credit for.
And there's also there is a secret mutant that is kept in the Children of the Atom's basement, who I will not spoil, but it's very interesting.
Secret mutant, like a secret tunnel.
Yep. He's kind of like he's the source basically of they use his blood as the catalyst for the experiments to awaken people's X genes. Like that's how Surge got her powers.
Okay, that makes sense.
And other people as well. Like it's sort of like The Boys almost, even, where like the cult members will inject their kids with this like mutant blood serum, and like some of them will awaken to power, some of them won't. Like that's how Natsu got her powers.
Do they call it Compound X?
They should, but no.
No, they'll probably do something more culturally relevant because.
Nah, I was just
Japanese.
joking, playing on the whole The Boys.
Yeah.
I know.
Compound V.
Like a logistic way of they would go about it, they would more likely just kind of give it a more culturally significant name rather than like a general term.
But yeah, I'm just really curious to see how when Ultimate X-Men is going to like spill into the greater Ultimate Universe, because that's kind of
what I'm wondering too. But also part of me is okay with it being its own little section.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think Peach should be allowed to just play with her toys by herself. But I also just want to see like her X-Men interact with Colossus's fucking, Eurasian Empire, where all the other big name mutants are, because like that's where Wolverine is, where like Nightcrawler, Mystique, Kitty Pryde, Gambit.
Now, what about DaCosta? Because he was included in the big cabal too.
Oh yeah. Sunfire is part of the Maker's Cabal and stuff too. But yeah, so that's Ultimate X-Men.
One thing I will make, because it mostly took my screen time to talk about Ultimate X-Men. I did watch #1 Sentai Gojujure.
Nice.
Jay, I'm going to point this out to you in particular. You will really like our Red for this season.
Oh, cool.
Because his character journey is simple yet effective.
Nice. Those are more often than not the best Reds.
Yeah. He is a man without a dream, out to actually get a dream.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that. That's open-ended enough to really have room to play.
Mm-hmm. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because at some point, I really need to show you guys this show, because its opener, phenomenal.
Nice.
Like the first episode.
I really like the Boom Boonger opening, so like if it's up to the same caliber, then I'm excited.
And
it's better.
I did see online Red's first tension, and it's heavily CGI, but still pretty damn awesome.
Well, you only saw the hinging, but the context of how that came about is actually rather impressive. Like, this is an opener, like the first episode of the show did a stellar job in making it like not only a great anniversary, it plays much like a fighting game.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Like, since the whole gimmick is rings, battle royales.
Yeah.
Goshu Wolf does like a fucking Tekken combo, Jay.
Oh, dude. Oh, this sounds like right up my alley as someone who loves fighting.
And I gotta tell you, I saw the fight too, and the mooks having bells for heads.
That's gotta lead to some like good comedy bits.
Yeah.
And every time he hits it, it kind of like hits something in the back of my neurospicy brain.
Nice.
But I think I could say, like, since all the, like, Bryden as a villain organization, they're based off of bridal parties. Everything is wedding themed for Bryden.
Interesting.
And the mooks have the funniest goddamn name for a mook I've seen in years.
Okay.
They're known as Eyes. They're basically named after could be translated into love.
Oh, like, yeah, Aisteru. Okay.
Yes, exactly. They're just bellboys.
Interesting.
That talk about love. Bouquet is Bouquet of Roses. She's known as Bouquet of the Compassionate. That's like her villainous title. Fire Candle Command. He's like a true aggressive commander. Haven't even met like the big bosses of Bryden. We will meet them in the second episode. So the only members of Bryden we're introduced to are the generals.
Okay,
Bouquet. Cool. And there's a thing that I'm not going to spoil. It's actually really, really cool. And it's actually surprising because it leads to theories. Sentai community. If they're doing that, that must mean we can get these things instead of like a typical cameo of sorts.
Interesting.
To really play with. Yeah, that's me.
All right.
When we have time, I really need to show you guys.
I'm snowed in, so we definitely have time. But yeah, moving on. Brian, what pieces of media have you consumed in between podcast episodes?
Not much. Two things. One longer, one shorter. I actually sat down and watched the Critical Role Campaign 3 finale, which was indeed 8 hours and 40 minutes.
Sheesh. That's a whole shift.
You watched the big boy.
I didn't watch it all in one chunk, but
okay.
I did end up watching it, and I really, for the fact that I'll be honest with you, Campaign 3 has not been my favorite. Like, as far as the main campaigns go, it's probably my least favorite. But saying that, I think they really did land the ending. It was a little bit railroady, but they're telling a production story, so it's kind of like little like you expect that somewhat. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not a critter, but just from what I've heard from fans on the outside, this seems to be like kind of like the Infinity War Endgame kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it was. And that's why it was so long, is because we spent like the first half wrapping up the main story, where our PCs had a chat with the literal gods of this world, and due to a very clutch Nat 20, changed the cosmology of the world as a whole.
Oh shit.
And then in a way that some people were not expecting. I'll just go ahead and say, for Tony and those people in the know, it didn't go the whole doom and gloom Dark Souls world that people thought it might.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's still very different and gonna lead to a very different world for Campaign 4. And but what happened with the second half was they wrapped up everybody's personal stories. They brought in most of their bigger guests who came on for guest art and wrapped up their stories. For those that know the term, all of the Crown Keepers but one got an ending, and it was really cool to see. But also, they got endings for the Campaign 1 and Campaign 2 characters.
Okay.
We will have, they have already confirmed it, that we will have, one-shots and maybe in the future a mini or two, but for the main campaigns, this is the end of an era, and they will not go back to this era for the big campaigns. To the fact where people are thinking that Campaign 4 is going to be hundreds of years in the future.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to have completely new characters and everything, which I think will be good for the franchise and good for a start, because one of the things that happened with Campaign 3, which was like a double-edged sword, is the fact that it featured returning characters and returning PCs, which it's cool if you're a fan, but also for new people.
But it can get convoluted.
Yeah, because the thing is if you go and you watch Campaign 2, Mighty 9, you can watch it without watching Campaign 1. And they're Exandria Unlimited mini-series that they do. You can watch them without watching any other part of Critical Role, and you get it. But Campaign 3, they initially said that you can watch it without watching the other campaigns, but not really.
It's like watching Infinity War and Endgame without...
Yeah, kinda, yeah. It starts off as its own thing, but then it morph into Infinity War and Endgame. But yeah, so that's why. It's because it got a lot of endings to characters and endings that we didn't expect, and a lot more happier with some characters than we thought would happen. But the one that I can say that without it being too spoilery is now Grog is Warden of the Moon.
Oh, cool. Good for Grog.
But yeah, it was a fun ride, long ride. Don't suggest it unless you're a diehard fan. But I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited to see what they do for Campaign 4, and where it's a refresh of everything, and see how that goes. Then also in completely other stuff. White Lotus Season 3 just started as of recording, and I realized that I never watched it from the beginning, and I know that technically you can watch a season without watching the other ones.
I was gonna say, aren't they isn't it an anthology where you can watch the season separately, like True Detective?
Yeah, but also I've heard that if you watch it, there are some.
Oh, it's it's like a connected world. There's some inside stuff you get if you watch multiple seasons.
I've heard that, but I don't know for sure. So I've just watched the first episode, and clearly I didn't know as much about White Lotus as I thought, because I didn't know that it's also kind of a murder mystery.
Yeah, it's a murder mystery. That I knew. Because everybody was telling me about it when it first came out, and I've been meaning to. It's been on my list forever, but I've never checked it out.
Well, yeah, everybody's been talking about, so I thought I'd give the first episode a go.
People have mentioned it's it's a Nicole Kidman show without Nicole Kidman.
Oh yeah, indeed. But instead of Nicole Kidman, at least for season 1, it's Connie
Connie Britton, yeah.
Connie Britton, Jennifer Coolidge,
Which,
but also
which is kind of funny for you because you also like were watching like 911 recently too, which Connie Britton was a big part of that first season.
oh god, yeah. She still kind of has a sour taste in my brain because of 911, because her character ended on a very shitty note.
Oof.
Like, I'll just go ahead and say it because you guys are probably never going to watch 911. The guy that she was in a relationship with.
Yeah, Buck. I remember Buck.
Yeah, Buck. She leaves Buck on the hook while she goes off on her European find herself, eat, pray, love, and keeps him on the hook that they're still in a relationship for like half of a season.
Oh, that's fucked up.
That's messy.
And in the end, he's the one who has to break it off.
Man.
And then the next time he sees her, which is like a couple seasons later, he has to save her and her, I think, fiance.
Damn, that's messy.
And it's just like when they reveal the timeline, it's like, bitch, you didn't wait too long.
Not
Like,
at all.
were you almost like with him while you still had Homeboy on the hook?
That's crazy.
What?
They never confirm it, but yeah, her character in 911 was kind of shitty.
But White
but-
Lotus.
White Lotus, I don't know so far. She just was so far an overprotective mom
Mm.
because she's part of a family of 4. Well, technically 5 because the daughter brought her friend,
Ah.
and the daughter is Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, okay. Yep. I do remember. Do remember she was in that first season.
And then there's a newlywed couple. The wife is Alexandra Daddario,
Oh, nice.
and then you've got Jennifer Coolidge, who's there to spread her mom's ashes.
Weird flex, but okay.
But yeah, those like 3 groups of guests and the like staff are the main characters of this. I'm liking it so far, but boy, they really know how to like hammer in the like real life awkwardness of these like situations where it's like you're on vacation and you accidentally lock eyes with someone else. Then you drum up conversation, but the only thing that you have in common
Is that
is
your
the
own
fact that you're
vacation?
both, and so you try to come up with like the small talk to like talk about yourselves, and one person ends up accidentally like going on for too long, rambling.
That's usually me.
The other person is just smiling and nodding. It's like, oh god. But it'll be interesting to see where we go from here.
Let me know.
And
'cause
I'll give you an update when
yeah.
I'm.
I would say I've heard good things. Let me know if it's worth checking out. Like what is it on? Did you
Max.
it's on Twitter?
No, Max.
Oh, I thought you said X. I was like, what? Oh, okay, it's on Max. Gotcha.
No, add an M and an A.
Gotcha. I got confused for a second. But yeah, okay. So, moving on from screen time, we are now going to jump into trailer talk. Trailer talk is, of course, the segment of the podcast where our boy Brian has gathered together 6, count them, 6 brand new trailers. As of recording of this video, YouTube people, you know what to do. Go into the description down below and check out that playlist link that Brian has provided so kindly for y'all. Spotify people, we will be back shortly through the magic of editing after we react to all the various trailers, and we will tell you as we go through them what those trailers are so you can look those up yourselves. But yeah, that is it for now. But while we dip away to react to the trailers, please enjoy this word from our non-existent sponsor. And we're back. Okay, solid batch of trailers this week. The first one, G20, was just kind of meh. It fell into the same kind of vibe as, stuff we've seen before, like Heart of Stone
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. Seems like a decent action flick, but, not really super interested.
Yeah, it's basically Air Force One and Die Hard had a baby, and they had Viola Davis play the lead instead.
Yeah, which,
Pretty
like,
much.
And
which I can't, not associate Viola Davis with Amanda Waller, now. And the funny thing about that is, Waller being in a big position of government just happened with absolute power, so.
Yeah.
and Homelander is the villain.
Yeah, with a Australian accent?
Yeah.
Well, Anthony Starr, that's the actor. He
Yeah.
isn't American.
No, I know he's not American, but I'm saying, the accent his character's putting on was Australian, I'm pretty sure.
Well, if he's using his real accent, Zealand.
He's from New Zealand. Interesting.
Kiwi.
Kiwi, nice. They're like the Mirror Universe Australia.
Yeah, and I remember, like, it's a detectable accent. I should have caught it because the years we watched Disney era Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
That's true. There were a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of native New Zealand actors from the Disney era. What's her name? I had it. I just had it. I just had it and I lost it. Rose McIver. There it is.
Yeah.
Yep. And like
And Kira.
70% of the rest of RPMs.
Yep. Yep. And like Kira from Dino Thunder as well.
Yeah.
Who showed up as the cop antagonist for Cloak and Dagger, and she was great. Just want to give that quick shout out. I thought that show was awesome and highly underrated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Odessa's the big one that stands out to me. It's a post-apocalyptic musical. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
The aesthetic and vibe reminds me of Carol and Tuesday, which is a show we have covered on the podcast in previous seasons. And Carol and Tuesday is amazing. You had not.
Yeah,
It is.
and this one is unique because it's a post-apocalyptic musical.
Mhm.
You don't ever see that.
Yep. And again, just aesthetically, it looks really interesting and like very just kinetic and fun. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. And it's a movie, so like we know that like it's gonna be nice and tight, hopefully, in terms of like pacing.
Huh.
The biggest question that we need to know: where's everyone's eyeballs?
Yeah. Is it a movie or is it a TV show? Because like I actually
It's a movie.
okay. I was like it was kind of unclear.
Yeah, it's Hulu, but it is a movie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't see her in the trailer, but apparently Regina Hall is.
oh shoot.
Ooh.
So what was that? What was that movie starring the girl from The Babysitter in it? That one.
Borderline.
Borderline. That one looked interesting. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those like crazy stalker fan movies.
It's set in the 90s. A pop star's home is broken into by an obsessive man who delusionally believes they are getting married and manipulates her and their surroundings to create a wedding atmosphere.
That it looks intense. Like it looks funny. It's got that kind of like schlocky horror camp vibe that I love, and like it immediately made me think of The Babysitter, not just because it uses that same actress, but it has a similar kind of energy to it. And then, Brian even looked it up. Apparently, it's written by the same guy who wrote the second one, which the second one is really good. If you've seen The Babysitter 2, that one actually had Jenna Ortega in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
But yeah, this one is
and they do a really
written and
interesting thing
directed.
with that one, and they make they pull a Bollywood, like Jenna Ortega and the other like teen character have a sex scene, and it's like they translate that into like a Bollywood style number, and it's really interesting.
Oh yeah, it is. But yeah, this movie is written and directed by the writer of that.
Yeah, so
Cool.
could be fun.
It could be, and also it's weird to see the actor's name is Eric Dane in a more heroic role, because last thing that I remember seeing him in was Euphoria,
Who was he in Euphoria?
where he played Nate's dad.
Oh shit! Oh fuck that
Which,
guy.
for those that don't know, he is not a good guy.
Oh, he's the absolute worst. As soon as you said he was Nate's dad, I immediately was like, oh yeah, no, fuck him.
But yeah, we also had Electric Skate. We watched that one.
Yeah, which had I wasn't like sold on the movie itself, but it has such an interesting world concept that I kind of want to check it out. It's like another kind of post-apocalyptic thing, but like post-robot rebellion.
It
Yeah.
reminded me of not just Chappie, but what was that other one? The one about the aliens that were in South Africa.
Ah, shoot.
There was a movie about that. Aliens in South Africa. I can't remember what it was called.
District 9?
District 9?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
There we go.
District
Kind of
9.
reminds me of that.
Yeah. I mentioned that too. Yeah, it has a District 9 Chappie type of feel. Yeah.
Also the creator kind of thing too.
Well, this one, it looks like it's the apocalypse, but the apocalypse happens in like the 80s.
Yep.
But also, it is not in the trailer, but this has a stacked cast.
Oh yeah, we saw people like we did see a few people like Millie Bobby Brown's in it.
Chris Pratt,
Chris Pratt.
Stanley Tucci, but Also not in the trailer is Kehu Kwan,
Oh, nice.
Ooh, cool.
Everybody loves Kehu.
Giancarlo Esposito,
You need a bad guy called Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Jason Alexander,
Nice.
Nice.
and guy who shows up on our radar a lot, Raul Coley.
Oh yeah.
from-
From iZombie, all the like the Flanagan verse stuff.
Yeah.
He was for people who watched Fall of the House of Usher. He was the like one that was like a techno bro.
Also, yeah. Also, apparently
Who
some
had
of the
the boyfriend.
robots,
Mhm.
some of the robots will have voices,
Ooh,
and those voices include Woody Harrelson, Anthony Mackie, Brian Cox, Alan Tudyk, Hank Azaria, Coleman Domingo.
oh shit.
Hmm.
Coleman,
That is a
yo,
pretty stacked cast.
Coleman. I am honestly hoping that they let Coleman Domingo play Norman Osborn in the MCU because
Sweet.
man, he's doing such a good job in Friend of the Neighborhood. I want to see more of this guy.
Yep. And then we had Ianu.
Oh, Keanu's in it. Nice.
No, Ianu.
Oh.
That's the name of the cartoon.
Oh, right. The one that's like African Shira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I always like supernatural adventure cartoons. Cartoon Network has always had bangers with those. The underrated certified hood classic that is The Life and Times of Juniper Lee. Loved that show. I recently checked out Gentry Chow versus the Underworld on Netflix, and I loved that show. That more explored Chinese culture, and that was super interesting.
But yeah, this seems like it's African She-Ra mixed with a bit of Avatar.
I hope they go into African mythology because like the African gods are really interesting, and that's a pantheon that I don't really know much about aside from like Anansi.
So it'll be interesting to see, and the fact that it got picked up for Cartoon Network says something.
Yeah, I mean, because Cartoon Network has had some really good series as of late. I talked about it before. Invincible Fight Girl, I think was awesome. We didn't get to cover it, but I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and the action is just so fucking dope. It's very shonen inspired.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't
then,
had much of a chance to watch anything on Cartoon Network recently. Like it's not something that's been on my radar recently.
I haven't been watching Cartoon Network itself. It's I mostly just catch the stuff on Max like the next day, similar to with My Adventures, because technically My Adventures was on Cartoon Network, but I just watch it on Max.
True.
Similar kind of.
And then the last trailer threw this in partly because of our guest and the new Marvel Rivals map.
Yeah, Central Park.
Yep.
And Dracula's Castle.
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm just happy we're getting a new map because more map variety is always fun. We're tired of seeing the same places.
Tired of seeing the same 3 Wakanda maps.
Yeah.
Oh man,
exactly.
dude, the Wakanda maps get on my nerves so much.
And it makes me wonder: is this particular map going to be our favorite style of play, though?
Yeah, that's just interesting. Cause I really like what they did with the Empire of Eternal Night map. And the story they incorporated there with Herbie. I wonder if this one's story in terms of like the game mode is us like raiding Dracula's castle or something.
Would make sense, and there probably would be like different facets to the castle, because our favorite style of play is domination.
Domination is definitely me and Tony's favorite style of play.
Because we're tired of being the cart boys.
Yeah. Domination is definitely where I have more fun. Because
Well, this one didn't seem like there was an obvious
place to hold point, and we'll see.
Yeah.
If anything, it might even be a new arena for Doom match. I'd be cool for a new arena for Doom match as well. Like just throw the portals in there.
Yep. And then at the end we got a tease
of Blade.
for...
Yeah, Blade looks great. Like Trash said off mic. I hope they've got to release a Wesley Snipes skin, and that's gonna happen for sure. There's no way it's not going to, because like that's the most iconic look for Blade, point blank period.
Not to mention, it's the most like literally they would make a ton of money from it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm really interested to see how Blade plays. Like, you know, is he a melee character? I know he also uses guns, so like, is he gonna be using guns too, or like, and like, how does he play? Can he like siphon health off of people, but like bite? I'm really curious to see what his playstyle is.
Will he have the boomerang?
Yeah.
Let's just make sure he doesn't piss on the Flash.
Oh man. But yeah.
But also that makes me wonder who is going to get the Ronin skin first.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny if Blade got it before Hawkeye.
Yeah. Shit.
Although,
That would
like,
actually be really funny.
although I actually really like Hawkeye's like Rivals design with the man bun. His default design is really good.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotta give it.
Who probably has like the worst design?
Who has the worst design? Ooh. I mean, all of them are pretty solid. I can't really think of a bad design in Rivals.
Neither can I. That's why I was trying to ask.
Yeah.
Just in case there was someone that found something.
Trying to think. No, all of them are solid. There isn't one that I think is outright bad. I mean, from at least in terms of default. Like, there are some skins that I think are just like yikes. Like fucking that weird Lemonade Captain America, like Captain AIM.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, that one? I mean, I kind of like it actually.
I don't. It's too bright of a yellow. I don't. I'm not here for that.
Also,
Yeah.
You don't want a banana?
Nah, I'm good.
his caveman one kind of, or not caveman, night one.
Yeah.
Kind of throws me off just with the fact that he's bouncing the shield around and it's not circular.
It looks like it confused the fuck out of me because it makes him look like Thor.
Yeah, the armored one does give off a big amount of Thor vibes. And then
I didn't realize it was a Cap skin until I saw the shield, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a shield here. That is Cap.
Well, I mean, so is it kind of reminds me not only of that, but of Thor sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or did you say Thor?
Yeah, I did say Thor.
Oh, then no, it was who was it? There was someone else. He-Man.
Conan.
Oh yeah,
Like that.
He-Man. Yeah,
Conan. There we go. Conan.
Yeah, it definitely has Conan vibe. Also, just a fun fact about Steve in Rivals: his Infinity War skin is confirmed to be more caked up to be accurate to America's ass.
That is amazing because we always have to have America's ass.
We have to have America's ass.
But speaking of America's ass, let us go ahead and transition into the main discussion topic, which is, of course, Captain America: Brave New World. We're gonna start spoiler-free, obviously, to give you guys some time. So first, I want to talk about the positives I have before I jump into the negatives that I've been thinking about for a while. So positive wise, I genuinely did enjoy the movie. I went in with very, very low expectations. But it was very well paced. The movie itself didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome. I thought it was it used its time very well. They had some really great action scenes, and I actually do like the story for Ross. This brings me to my biggest problem of the movie. This is not a Captain America film. This is a General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross film. This is a sequel to Incredible Hulk. This is not a Captain America film. One of the biggest problems I have with this movie is that this is Sam's first big outing as Cap. This is a movie. This isn't just a TV show that like a handful of people watch on Disney Plus. This is a movie. This was your chance to make a statement, to prove why Sam is worthy of being Captain America. And while Sam does a good job as a fighter, and he doesn't look incompetent, there isn't a definitive moment in the movie where you're just like, yeah, that's Captain America. And I really feel like the movie dropped the ball in that regard for Sam. And I am one of those people that do like Sam as Captain America, both in the in the comics especially. But the thing with Sam that I think is the issue is that, like, unlike the comics, we don't get enough time with Sam prior to him becoming Captain America. He has one movie where, with Winter Soldier, where he's like a main driving force, and then, like, obviously he plays a supporting role to Steve throughout the rest of the Infinity Saga. But we really don't get to spend a good substantial amount of time with Sam prior to him taking up the shield. And this was the problem I had, like, even with, like, the show. The show, I feel like, did its job and, like, cemented his title there. But, like, I was hoping for them to, like, push it forward more, and they didn't, like, give Sam enough of a plot in his own movie, right? Most of the big emotional resonance of the movie has to do with Ross, and his journey for redemption and, like, you know, quest to be a better person, and all that's compelling. But that has jack all to do with Sam. And also another issue I have is that this plot is just Winter Soldier again. Captain America ends up finding a friend who is mind controlled into committing heinous acts. So Captain America has to go deep and investigate to, you know, help clear this friend. But then by the end of the movie, there's a big political shakeup that, you know, fundamentally changes the landscape of the world. Exact same plot as Winter Soldier, but for Sam, with Hulk DLC.
Yeah.
And also, the leader is a fucking idiot.
For being a smart man, he's just a dumb boy.
Like, Stearns gets outplayed at almost every turn, and they try to build him up as this, like, you know, Mr. Probability Man, but, like, Sam was able to fucking outthink you. And, like, I'm not saying Sam is, like, some idiot or whatever, but, like, he's not a super tactician, so he should not have been able to do that. Like, he got Stearns so frustrated that he, like, straight up did, like, one of those, like, Dr. Claw, I'll get you next time gadget yells. That shit was hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I laughed in the theater when that happened.
I just, like, Leader was a lackluster villain. I do like a lot of the, like, I do like a lot of the, like, the plot. Again, I like the plot with Ross, and I think, you know, him, you know, his machinations to creating Red Hulk are great. But I also do think that another thing, and this is less against the movie and more so against the marketing. I feel like people would have been a lot more receptive to this movie if you did not spoil Hulk in all your marketing.
But I get it. Yeah. You want to show the big final fight, get people invested, but yeah.
And, like, I really do feel like with this movie in particular, you kind of need to watch, or you need to have seen Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk to really get the emotional resonance and pathos that Ross has presented here. Otherwise, it's just gonna fall flat.
And also, you can tell that they had massive reshoots.
There's a lot. Some of the green screen is really bad, and also, like, a lot of the plot feels a little stitched together. Like, the Serpent Society feels kind of tacked on. Like, it's a leftover from the original plot.
Yeah, because there are 2 confirmed and 1 rumored complete full characters that were cut from the film. One was Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Rollins. I was gonna say, like, Seth Rollins mentioned that he had, like, a full character that was gonna be part of the story.
I forgot who he played.
Rollins was Sidewinder initially.
Oh.
Yeah, and then also Diamondback was confirmed to be in the film, but she got cut.
Interesting.
And then also Amadeus Cho was rumored to be in it, but he got cut.
Yeah, we were denied Amadeus Cho, Jay.
Which again, like, another thing, like, why Banner should have been in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Banner should have.
I agree with that.
where the
100%.
I like the
Oh,
entire
yeah.
time I was just like, okay, where the fuck is Banner? Because like that is like his arch nemesis. He, if anybody is invested in this, it's Banner. Sam should not give a shit about any of this. Why is Sam here?
I get what they were going for with the whole fact that Red Hulk, his whole thing is that his anger fuels him, and that Sam is he's more of a like talkative, compassionate Captain America due to being like the therapist and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that that's what they were going for.
Didn't really work though.
No.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things that I will just kind of point out initially, to kind of add on to Jay's comparison, that this is Sam's Winter Soldier. Would that mean that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is basically Sam's first Avenger?
Basically, yeah. Well, yeah, because it's his origin story as Captain America. It's his, yeah. So yeah, I'd count that. And just like First Avenger, it is an adventure with Cap and Bucky. So yeah. That actually checks out.
Yeah. So we get like a political conflict for Sam's second movie being his like third overall adventure based on Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Which I hope that we just
I hope it's not Civil
they
War
do
2.
another Captain America.
God, please
That
don't, please don't let it be the plot to Civil War 2. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, if it is, then like, who is it gonna be against? Sam Wilson versus Riri Williams?
No, it would be
No, if they go by the comics,
it'll be Sam versus Carol Danvers.
And judging from his plot armor in this movie, he probably would have a chance to fight Carol Danvers, honestly.
He really did have some plot armor. I called bullshit on a lot of stuff. Like, look, I get training with the shield, but some of those shield moves you were doing were some super soldier ass shield moves.
Mm-hmm. And some things you just can't.
Also,
you can't
he caught that lamp pole with his bare hands.
Oh, the flagpole.
Yeah, flagpole.
Oh, so are we just going like all over the place?
No,
or are we,
no.
I
I was just saying stuff I called BS on that's like not a spoiler.
Oh yeah,
In terms of like,
that's how we do things here. We try to keep it structured, but when our like captain has ADHD, we kind of go off on tangents.
but yeah.
Here and there.
So
yeah, I was just wondering if because I think
yeah.
you said that you were just doing like an overview, right?
oh yeah. This was part of my negatives. Like I called BS on and like it kind of broke my immersion for a lot of the big moves that Sam was pulling off, because they were trying to sell me on, oh, you know, Sam is the Captain America without the super soldier serum. He's the everyday guy. Bullshit. Some of the stuff you're doing, man, that is super soldier ass shit.
Not to mention some of the stuff that he had. He had a freaking Ford F-150. Those aren't cheap cars, and he couldn't get a loan for a boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another.
Yeah.
That is true. You're right.
Listen, maybe this was post show where you know he convinced the senator to do better, so he was able to afford a better car.
Well, he
So
did
his
have
senator
that.
was
he
like,
did have
okay, we're
that
taking
hub.
away from these people so that we can give you a new car, Captain America.
Hey man.
Yeah, no. Listen, due
He
to
did
some.
have that hub with Joaquin, so he was an official government employee.
Yeah, top of that, 2 years after Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yep,
2
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But even then, even before that, he was already doing he already worked for the military. Not to mention, he worked for the he already did like contracting work, which contracting work pays really well.
Oh
I
yeah.
guarantee you that.
Which I didn't understand that. Like that confused me too with the show. I was like, wait, if you're working with the military, under a government contract, you're not just making pennies. You should have been able to afford saving that boat.
Not to mention, he's an Avenger, so he probably gets record deals, and he gets signed autographs and all that other stuff. You could do a bunch of stuff with
Yeah,
that.
look at Scott.
Yeah.
Scott was able to like build a multimedia empire.
And you don't think that Sam would be able to do it, considering how close he was to Captain
Exactly.
freaking America?
He's Captain, and he himself was given the mantle of Captain America. Like, yeah, no, like this movie should have done more to justify Sam as Cap. I don't think that's a problem in the comics, but like we don't have enough to care about Sam as Cap in the movies.
Like, we were saying this we were talking about this off screen in regards to Martian Manhunter, but it kind of applies here. is the fact that part of the reason why we like superheroes is because of their supporting cast. And beyond Joaquin, Sam doesn't really have anybody.
Yeah, and
Not true.
He does have.
he
Here's Elijah.
He has Isaiah.
He has Elijah,
Isaiah.
and also Sir not appearing in this film.
He has Isaiah and he has Eli, even though Eli apparently just didn't show up for this movie.
Yeah.
But like the thing with also the other thing with Sam, and again this is more of just the fault of the movies, more so. Like unlike the comics, he also just doesn't have that interesting of a background for us to care. You know, like with Sam in the comics, we've had time to see him in a bunch of different adventures, and we've got to see his character development and growth. Sam doesn't really have that much growth in between appearances that we've seen him, and again that's more of just a weakness of movies more so than anything. But like because of that, we just don't care.
Oh my god. Yeah. And it just hit me about why that awful episode of What If had Sam and Hulk.
Yeah, that just clicked in my head too, because it had that same kind of vibe as well, like even down to the point of like Sam giving a "This isn't you" speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like prepping us for what was about to come.
Now, to be fair, I feel like Cap 4 did that better than the What If, but that's a low bar because that
Yes.
What If was terrible.
Oh
Yeah.
If anyone was gonna do that thing, it should have been freaking Hulk.
I'm
Yeah.
saying Banner should have been here. Banner should have been here, and also. Like, you should have done more to build up Betty as a character. Betty should have been featured throughout. Like,
Yeah.
By the way, her CGI was really
yeah,
bad.
Betty should have been featured throughout. And this is still in spoiler free, but you guys know that Ross is here, so you know Betty's going to show up because Betty is like the most important character in Ross's life. Betty should have been featured throughout this movie instead of mentioned a couple times and then shows up at
Yeah.
And that
If
half-hearted
she
phone
was
call.
supposed to show up, then she should have shown up.
Yeah, it was so
It should have been Sam. I mean, it should have been her instead of Sam,
yeah,
basically.
it should have
Yeah,
been,
like
it
I
was
thought.
If it
Yeah,
was completely-
that's
Sure.
what I thought that's what I thought Sam was doing. I thought Sam was gonna lead him there, and then to like, all right, bring in the asset, and then like, Joaquin brings in Betty. It's like that's what I thought was gonna happen, and I was like, where's Betty? I thought Betty was gonna show up here,
Yeah.
and like talk her dad down. But like, no, like it's a missed opportunity, and like again, Ross, like the beat of Ross's defeat doesn't feel earned because it feels kind of cheap with just a half-ass call back to Betty and a phone call. Like, come on, no bullshit.
Yeah, and there are parts of the trailer that we saw initially that don't make it into the final cut of the film.
Yep.
It's like that we were going to have a funeral for somebody, and that could have been Ross's funeral, that he could have died at the end of that fight.
Yeah,
And to be perfect with you, I would much rather prefer Ross dying at the end.
I actually.
No.
I'm with Tony on this one. I'm with Tony on this one.
I would be if not for all the antagonists dying lately in the MCU.
There's a couple things though, Brian, and I guess we'll talk about it more in spoilers. But like I think with this, I feel like it would make more sense character wise for him to die, and also let's be real, Harrison Ford is in his 80s.
Yeah, he's not gonna.
We're not gonna get him for too many more movies, so killing off Ross probably for the best.
And yeah, sure, there's some things we could get spoiler-wise, but I'm gonna my initial opinion because I gave myself time to think about it, and it made me really think the flow would have been a lot better if that happened.
I don't think so, but
Okay, we have
Though
something.
I have to agree that I don't think Ross should have died. As much as I do think that it's probably like we're not going to have him for very many films, I think his last film should be with the Incredible Hulk at this point. And since they whiffed it in this,
It really should.
I think it should end that way.
No,
like
I'm with you on that.
honestly, I think that if I was running things in Marvel from this point on, I'd have him as Rolk up here in Secret Wars and/or Doomsday, and then a Hulk solo project. And
You know something that I thought they were gonna do that, I'm surprised that they didn't. Is I thought they were gonna cover up Rock's identity and keep it a secret like they did in the comics.
No, with how okay.
Yeah.
I think with the definitely getting.
Yeah. Now we can get to spoilers. Now we'll officially get into spoilers.
but I will say just one last thing for non-spoiler. that I did like about this film is that they didn't inject unnecessary jokes and quit.
Oh yeah,
True.
Yeah, it was definitely taken a lot more seriously, which I appreciate. But yeah, okay. So spoiler talk. You have been.
Well, honestly, just to give my opinion. Well, I mean, it's already known. I didn't really like it too much. I felt like it was really long. I do have to admit it's better than most of the other movies that have come out, so I will give it that. But I will still say that it's still pretty bad in my opinion. Mostly because of the writing. But I mean, that's just like the general thing with the MCU right now. But anyways, I'm just looking forward to the Fantastic Four, and I'm actually relatively looking forward to the Thunderbolts to see how that goes. I'm optimistic.
I'm
with those two
I'm
films.
very curious with the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
'Cause how the hell?
Yeah. How the fuck are they gonna beat the Void? That like I'm still scratching my head on that one.
Honest
What?
question.
Like I still think we're on point with our theory of they're gonna convince Bob to unalive himself.
Yeah, that would make the most sense to me at least.
But yeah, we'll see. That's Thunderbolts. But yeah, so let's
But
let's
back
talk.
to our
Let's talk about Ross. Let's talk about Ross. Okay, so
Mhm.
like the reason I think like Ross should have died is because like it's not that it brings closure, because obviously he'd be dead, so he wouldn't really be able to take accountability. But like him kind of like his heart giving out after all that activity, it makes a lot of thematic sense, and it leaves that bit of just like bittersweetness
Mm-hmm.
of like he really was on the road to change, but he didn't get a chance to really see it through. But you know, his legacy, as Sam showed, is still preserving that treaty.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
I get that, but also I think I know why. Again, I'm not saying that they did it, that this was the correct decision, but I think I know why they ended it like they.
Okay.
To provide that like parallel to the end of Secret Wars where Sam was in the cage.
Oh yeah. You talking about at the end of Infinity War? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Infinity
But-
War. Mhm.
No, it's Civil War.
Civil War. Yeah, Civil War.
But with that, I think it's a bit flimsy, to be perfectly frank with you.
Like I said, I don't think the execution was great, but I get what they were trying to go.
Yeah, but personally for me, I would think in a more way that it's written, because yeah, this movie has been through reshoots, and for what they were able to accomplish is actually quite impressive. I will give them that credit.
Oh yeah.
They were able to make something that did have a good narrative flow to it, even though we disagree with how it was presented, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Hmm.
Though I will say
So-
I didn't feel like the flow was actually really good myself, but I mean, I can explain that later.
Yeah, but from the reshoots that they had to do, I would say it's a decent accomplishment. I'm going to at least give them that credit.
I can
They-
agree with that at least.
Oh yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Like everything. You know, everything flowed well. At least like it. You know, it made sense. It didn't feel like certain things like came out of nowhere. Like there was set up to most of everything that was established in the film.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think could have made it a bit better in the way that it could have just flowed, you could still have given accountability because, well, he hulked out while giving a presidential speech. And if Stearns wasn't a fucking moron and let himself get caught,
I still want
For whatever reason.
I still don't get that fucking logic. In order
Like-
for my plan to work, I have to. Why do you have to turn yourself in?
why?
Because then he could, because that's how he, like in turning himself in and explaining himself is when he admitted to working with Ross.
But
But
And
why
he
would anybody
admitted-
believe him? though?
Yeah.
He's a supervillain.
Yeah.
And also it's like another thing that like annoyed me, like again, that I think would have been like a big improvement to the movie. Like they touched on something really interesting that could have really worked for a plot for Sam that they did not really mess with at all. The stuff with Isaiah being this forgotten, neglected Captain America. You know, they didn't really take time for Sam to reflect. This could be me in the future. You know, my gut. You
Mhm.
know, if they could just toss Isaiah aside like that, what's to stop them from doing that to me? You know, where's that reflection? Where's that turmoil? Like, there was something there, and they didn't do anything with it, and it pissed me off because like that is so interesting, and you just skip it.
Mhm. Also, we had a lot of characters that didn't exactly need to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I get why they did it, but apparently Ruth had a bigger role in the original.
She felt like a random inclusion. It's like, okay, a random Israeli widow
Well,
lady. Cool.
She's the superhero known as Sabra.
Oh, okay.
But,
And she's also a mutant, by the way.
Interesting.
yeah, but the reason why they heavily doctored and downed her character is because
Recent
in the
events.
comics she's an Israeli superhero.
And more specifically, she's a Mossad agent.
Right, she's Mossad.
Yeah.
And because of that, Mossad's the kind of like the Israeli special forces that go in and it's basically like our CIA.
Yeah. And given all the stuff with the conflict in Palestine, yeah, no, that's understandable. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
also another a character that I really enjoyed and had really good and I think had really good chemistry with Sam, but honestly could be taken out of the movie and nothing would have been lost.
Sidewinder.
Giancarlo Esposito, yeah.
Like his those parts felt like an entirely separate Captain America movie, and I was like, all right, I want to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think if they removed the Incredible Hulk nonsense, not to say that it's complete nonsense, but like the mess from that.
Yeah, if they actually made this a Captain America movie.
Like
Society, it would have been fine. You could have kept the bare bones of the story. You could have had a President Ross. You could have built the mystery to the Red Hulk, not make it like the big fight at the end.
Yeah.
Heck, you could have given the Serpent Society some what's that thing called? Adamantium.
Adamantium.
Yeah, adamantium. Exactly.
And they could have used those weapons against Sam with his vibranium suit. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that is a positive I want to give to the movie as well. I think this was a very clever way to bring in adamantium to the universe.
Yeah.
You know,
And apparently, according to folks who worked on the movie, Copperhead's knives that scratched up Sam's suit, that was made out of adamantium.
okay, that makes sense. That's why that shit got through. I was wondering why a fucking knife could get through that armor.
Mhm.
Okay. If it's adamantium,
Yeah, but also-
that makes sense.
But also, there were some parts where, like, remember in the fight against Sidewinder when he gets hit by the hatchet,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like he bleeds and it
Oh,
goes
yeah.
through his
Yeah,
shirt,
yeah,
but then he
yeah.
says, "Oh," but then they talk about it later.
Yeah,
Something that I was
yeah,
watching
yeah,
another
yeah,
thing
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
he
oh
just-
no,
he
you
just-
didn't cut through this.
And he just shook it off. Like it was weird. It's like
Well,
it was very
apparently
inconsistent.
apparently the military gave him what did he say? Like Kevlar
Yeah,
clothing
Kevlar weave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
for
that shouldn't.
civilian wear?
Yeah, but that shouldn't be able to stop vibranium or
I know.
Yeah.
adamantium at this point, because apparently adamantium is like the most, and I don't know why the United States would just decide to allow everything to be equitable in that sense.
Mhm.
I mean, I think with all the geopolitical turmoil of like the blip, and like all the BS they had to deal with all the displaced people, like they're really just trying to keep everything stable. And I think that was Ross's main goal, because he's just like, look, we just started building our world back together. We don't need this bullshit again.
Also Ross's whole thing, like as we saw, his whole political campaign was about working together and him trying to make up all the stuff that he did. So it wouldn't make sense that in a campaign to be together, I would then start World War III.
And go full American imperialist.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it wasn't ironically wasn't American imperialism at this
No.
point.
No.
It was actually the fault of everyone.
Oh yeah.
Because that's another
Yeah.
thing that I really wanted to get into, is something that I was talking to Jay about. The political situation in this
Oh
is
yeah,
really
the
freaking
the
stupid.
geopolitics is really dumb. The geopolitics
Yeah, everyone's
yeah.
fucking
for this entire thing is really dumb. Like you can't really analyze it at all, otherwise it falls apart. Because like, and a lot of it is more meta textual than actual in story. Because like, if we were gonna have this actually make sense, the main enemy geopolitically would be China
Or Russia.
Mhm.
But-
or Russia. But
Honestly, Russia probably would have been the safest
Yeah.
bet.
yeah,
The reason why Jay specifically mentions China is because the main political conflict happens in the Indian Ocean, which is
a lot closer
next to
the,
China.
Yeah, a lot closer to the South China Sea. And the only reason they didn't have China as the big bad guy is because China is a big movie market, and they want to sell to China, and
also
it's fucking dumb.
Sorry.
Because to make Japan the bad guys makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Japan's like
Also,
one of our
what-
strongest allies. But anyways, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I was just gonna say one other thing that really irks me about Japan being tangentially related to Japan being the enemy is they're Marvel with Marvel money. Why was he flying to Japan and the only thing that we saw was this weird building where the only thing that says that it's Japan is that there are cherry bombs.
Yep, it was fucking weird, man.
As someone who lived in Japan, that really irked me. I was like, that is so obviously not Japan, and that
Again, the back and forth with Japan and the geopolitics just wasn't. Not only was it not interesting, it wasn't believable because Japan has never been antagonistic. If you wanted it to be an enemy that we could understand, make it like North Korea. Just make it North Korea.
Yeah.
Not really, because honestly, North Korea is just way too small. If you were gonna do something, have it be let's see, maybe Iran, because Iran's closer to that
I could see
area.
Iran,
And
Russia,
at the very least,
yeah.
Iran,
Yeah.
Russia, those are easier ones to choose because I couldn't see North Korea considering they don't even have a navy.
Fair.
Hell, you can still get away with Russia because, think of it, a lot of prominent Silver Age villains.
Exactly. Exactly. You could tie that into a lot of the prominent Marvel villains happen to be Russian because the big boom of the Silver Age is anti-communist propaganda, so it's kind of built into the DNA of the Marvel universe in the first place. You could have just used the Russians as the bad guys.
although I will say that using the Russians as the bad guys kind of does a weird thing with the fact that Thunderbolts
Yeah.
and
With the fact
Two
that
of the Thunderbolts.
they have Red Guardian and Widow. Yeah, true. But I mean,
Are they really? Because let's be honest, would they be technical Russian operatives when they're Thunderbolts?
not
Really?
Not at this point.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think they really like Russia at this point in their sense either.
I
Because they
think Red
got
Guardian kinda does.
Red Guardian. I feel like at this he's definitely disillusioned because he realized that his state fucked him over.
Yeah, he got fucked over super bad.
You could see that even in the what if with Bucky and with Red Guardian.
Oh, yeah,
the
that-
only actual good.
Yeah.
Which,
Eh,
ironically enough, was the one holdover from CU.
Yep.
and
But
I have to say that.
What if season 3 you mean the Captain Carter show?
Yeah.
but anyway, back to Captain America though.
But, and also, another thing that I need to add. Okay, Stearns. I understand the thought process of your plan to fuck over Ross. Get it. I vibe with it. Is your brain so goddamn small to really think of the most convoluted plan in the name of existence? You helped this man, and yet you still want to screw him over because he kept you in prison for 16 years? You're not the Count of Monte Cristo. What the fuck, man?
Also,
Well, I don't think it was just
no,
he held him.
and also
It is exactly it.
and also it's no shit, he can't let you out right away. Do you know how suspicious that would be?
Also,
Yeah, that would be so fuck.
I have a random question. I have a question.
Okay,
What the fuck was up with that random family killed?
that
Oh, that was
Uh,
an admiral, but
yeah,
I mean it was
Yeah.
stupid because he was already talking to Ross through the thing.
which was still so that was completely unnecessary that you just killed that admiral for no reason.
Not just the admiral. We saw he killed his kids and his wife.
He only had his wife.
He only had his wife.
Yeah,
There
it
were
was
kids
only
in
his
the
wife. I didn't see his
background,
kids.
I thought.
He didn't have any kids.
Yeah, and look, Stearns is probably just that type of character that's saying, I play
It was
chess while you...
It was just one of those scenes that was just there just to show look how evil he is. Yes, we already know he's evil. You don't need to that's completely unnecessary.
And
Also,
they-
I think his design is really ugly. I think they should have gone with something else, personally.
well,
But, okay, so the best way to
explain that for at least for you, Trash. Marvel probably had PTSD from what they did with MODOK and Quantum Mania, so they didn't initially want big brain.
Yeah, because the leader's actual design, like the leader's comic design, is super goofy. He's got like the big ass head.
Like you know how some people have a forehead and some have head.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know his comic book design, but I'm pretty sure there could have been a better way to do it.
Yeah,
it wasn't like what this was.
Yeah, no,
like a character design.
I thought it was okay.
I mean,
No.
this is definitely like a half-assed version, I will say.
Yeah, I half-assed. Like the teaser image that they had for Stearns
looked a lot
initially.
better. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you still could have done that with practical effects. You could have just like give him a 5 head and just elevated it a bit, and you would have been fine. Had a little bit of a scar where the blood seeped in, still could have worked. But I can see what they were trying to go for with like the weird cordyceps infected brain angle. I saw what they went for, but practically the execution didn't go well.
What is the
bad.
actor's name? For some reason, I'm blanking on his name.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake Nelson. He's such a good actor. I really wish. It feels like a wasted performance because like I was so much more expecting like this like Machiavellian like bad guy, but he was just kind of a dumbass.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, Jay. I'm right there with you.
Here's the thing: is you mentioned the whole Sam outthinking him, even though he's not a technician. I think that would have made sense if Sam had the serum, because it is.
Yeah, because you also get the faster brain processing power. Yeah.
And given that, I think the leader is a decent villain for Captain America.
Oh yeah.
If done right.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't give him the serum. And I also think that the other thing that pissed me off about this is their whole reasoning of not giving Sam the serum is fucking hollow.
Even Sam himself said it at the end.
Because the thing that makes me angry about it is so you're saying Steve is less of a hero because he had the super soldier serum? No, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's something me and Jay kind of mentioned about that we just really freaking hated about this movie, which honestly made me hate this movie more than it like I even did in general.
And like also like the other part that like made me groan out loud in the theater was Bucky's speech. Because I was like, Bucky, what? Excuse me? Steve did give you something to aspire to. Like, I know what you're going for, but that doesn't work.
Well,
like, I can aspire to Superman, and he's a freaking superhuman, like, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's a nice sentiment, but it's condescending.
Condescending. I gotta say this. Coming from a man who, like, it's written by political, like, speech writers. Like, that is, like, off the bat. They even made that joke in the first place. It feels like the kind of patronizing shit you would hear.
Yeah, it's just a pandering political speech. Like,
Yeah. Even we've mentioned her before on the show, a TikToker, Nikki Morenis, who is a big MCU fan. Even she had to point that out. She did a whole sketch about Bucky watching him get his ass beat and laughing while drinking wine, being like, I can't believe he bought that shit.
Yeah, like,
not to mention, he's not someone that I could see as a congressman.
Yeah, that just
at all.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Bucky. If anybody would have been like an actual good politician, it's Steve. Steve could have ran for president.
And you know what? There's a what if that actually proposed that same question. And you want to know why?
And also,
how that works?
And also, Ultimate Captain America became president of the United States. And he's
I don't give a fuck. Ultimate Cap, like original universe, or like original Ultimate Universe, fucking sucks. I hate Cap so much.
Oh yeah, he is the worst. I'm with you, but I was just saying
that
what if Captain Ultimate characters seem to come out with like the worst characters and like the worst people in
that's
existence.
Not true. That's not true.
Oh,
Ultimate Spider-Man is the absolute best.
Okay, so let's leave it like
outside of the Spider-Man like family.
Yes, like everyone in the Ultimate Universe, with a few exceptions, is just the works examples of the characters.
This is the universe where the Maximoff twins, Wanda and Pietro, were the closest that they've ever been, if you catch my drift.
They fucked, man. Don't be coy.
So they
fucked.
did a Yosugara no Sora thing?
They were, yeah. They were in an incestuous relationship. Also, they were the children of Wolverine instead of Magneto. It was weird.
How does that
There is a scene where Wolverine watches them.
Why?
Yeah, he watched his children fuck each other.
It's weird. I don't know. Don't ask me. The old Ultimate Universe. They lost their marbles towards the end. The only good thing to come out of there was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, both Ultimate Spider-Man when it was original Pete and Miles.
Yeah, Pete and Miles.
I think I'm just gonna pretend that doesn't exist.
I think Marvel Comics Ultimate Universe too. So you're not wrong there, Trash.
They pretty much, I would say Marvel Comics pretty much treats the original Ultimate Universe like it doesn't exist, aside from the Maker, Miles, and I will never forget you, Jimmy Hudson Jr.
Well, apparently, like you said, he's still around.
Yeah, I know, he's in the TVA, but everybody else forgot you, Jimmy, but I didn't.
My point, to kind of continue with the thought that Jay's talking about, like, you know what made Steve a good politician? And I'm using this what if story as an example to kind of take it back off your point, Jay. So if you haven't read this particular what if story, it's part of a collection. I think it's in the first volume of what if stories, but I have the trade of it in my long box for Marvel stuff, and I'm not going to pull it out. But Steve basically said because he picked a running mate who is an actual politician in the Marvel universe, that basically said, hey, you're better at being a politician than I am. I want you as my running mate to kind of help me with where I land. And the person that he picked, because Steve is an honest to God person that sees merit, was this African American politician that didn't really believe Steve at first. That he thought, oh, why did you pick me? He said, you have great character. That's what I like to see in someone working on my team. And sure, people try to kill Steve at the end of the story, but the point still remains. Cap did what he always does. Rally people behind him. And you know what? He fucking won.
Mm-hmm.
He won against, I think it was during the time where it was Reagan.
But
or
I mean,
Nixon.
That's the, and to circle it back to the movie, I think this is where the movie failed. It didn't really prove why Sam deserves to be Cap.
Yes, and look, nothing like we've been trying to say here, and I hope the point gets made abundantly clear from all of us here in this call, and for the folks at home to understand, we love Sam. We love him as a character. We just want his outing as Captain America to be in such a way to show people why we love him, right?
And also,
I mean, I love
actually
him
be a
until
Captain America
Falcon and the
movie.
Winter Soldier, but
it also just doesn't stand on its own. Not only is this a pale imitation of Winter Soldier, but it's a Hulk movie more than a Cap movie. Give Sam his own material. He can do it. He's a strong character. Steve believes in him. Show us.
it's kind of like the
why.
problem we'll have with Miles Morales.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah. No.
that's an interesting. Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, no.
But,
he does have the same problem Miles does of kind of being in the shadow of a his popular original counterpart. And very much like Miles in the comics, Sam in the movies doesn't have much to differentiate his personality to make him stand out. He didn't have his Spider-Verse moment to make Miles his own character or Sam his own character in this.
Not to mention,
Yeah.
I was telling Jay this too, that it basically, this whole movie was like Korra, when that time when Korra said, I'm the Avatar and you've got to deal with it. That was basically this whole movie, because everyone in this whole world was basically just glazing Sam and telling him, hey, Cap. There were some instances where I was like, you know what, you could have just, people would have just called you Sam. People would have just called Captain America Steve instead of just Cap or something.
Yeah.
You don't need to constantly tell me he's Captain America.
They were trying to sell it so hard. You were telling me he's Cap, but you didn't show me how he earned. Those soldiers clearly respected Sam. And that's probably because, and you could read between the lines, they've probably done missions with him, and they understand what Sam is like as a soldier and a warrior. Cool. Why didn't we see any of that?
Well,
Although he's still
the only
misguided
thing that
with
we got
Walker
was
and
that
with
one scene
and the
where
terrorists.
he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but moving on from that, I will still never freaking forgive that show. I'm sorry, but anyways, go on.
No, that's fair. The show did not do a very good job at painting Sam in a good light
Because also,
he was
one
wishy-washy
thing,
in the show.
not to mention,
Mhm.
Sam was a psychiatrist and he would have helped Walker through his trauma.
Yeah.
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 So,
yeah.
like, instead of being
Yeah.
antagonistic, he would have
Yeah.
been like, you know what? Maybe you don't
Yeah.
want to be Captain America
Yeah,
because
that was a thing that pissed me off about the show. Is that was very out of character for Sam, because Sam is a very empathetic and compassionate person. So I didn't get why he antagonized Walker.
Walker. Yeah. I may not like Walker in Falcon and the Winter Soldier personally, but I can see that this is a man that is struggling, and it ties back to his comics. That's great, and I agree. I could have done more to at least try to help.
Yeah, and like
John.
and like using that as a building block could have been a great movie for Sam, right? Like
honestly, I think
like-
it would have been way better for him to maybe Walker could have gone through the Serpent Society or
yeah,
something.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Like if you wanted to make him like, you know, a villain or something. And not to mention Sam, also another thing me and Jay mentioned, Sam killed people in this movie, like innocent people. Yeah, they were mind controlled. They didn't deserve to die. Sam could have taken them out just without killing them with guns.
And then he had that
Yeah.
scene in the basement where he was like, "Watch out, they're being mind controlled."
right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Also, in that scene, there was also the time where they were able to get out in this secure prison, and the way to open it was literally just a button that you could just slightly move your hand out, and you were able to get out of there.
Also,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
call bullshit on why they even put Isaiah in jail in the first place when the events of Winter Soldier have happened. We know fucking programming and mind control exists. We heard the goddamn music. Why are you making this big deal? You know
You've seen the
what
flashing
happened.
lights that even a
know what-
preschooler would
You
see.
know what happened. You're just doing that. Are you just doing this on purpose?
And Sam could have easily just told the president, you know what, it's mind control.
That's what I'm saying.
Either that or it's scrolls. Because we know scrolls wanted to nuke everyone.
He could have just told, like, it was mind control. And when he did tell, Ross was like, okay, we'll let him go. Which is why I was like, well, why didn't you just do that in the first place, Sam?
It's like, oh my god.
Ah.
And so, like, okay, the more I think about it, because I just looking at the film objectively, I knew for a fact that it had an uphill battle to climb.
Oh, yeah.
But at least, I can say at least, with the way that the box office revenue is shown up,
Oh, yeah.
we could potentially get the Sam Captain America film that we want.
I hope so. I hope
Because
so. Because I do genuinely believe in Sam as a character, and I want to see him succeed. I think Anthony Mackie does a great job.
Oh, absolutely. I love Anthony Mackie. He's a really cool person,
yeah.
and I want to see him
and-
succeed.
And he's
Honestly, I wouldn't, like, even though I wanted Bucky to be Captain America, I have no problem with Sam being Captain America, but they had to prove it to me, and so far
That's
they
what I'm
haven't,
saying. Yeah,
and it threw me off.
They really dropped the ball on proving Sam's worth.
I will say though that I did like his aerial fights.
Oh yeah, dude,
those
all the action scenes were top notch. That's like that is one thing I will 100% give this movie. Like, very well choreographed action scenes. But yeah, so now that we've done all that ranting and raving, final thoughts and ratings, everybody. I'll start. Look, man, I enjoyed this movie, but as you can see, I had a lot of problems with it. And it's because the Cap series of movies is my favorite series of MCU movies. The Steve Rogers trilogy is damn near perfect.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
You know, to be fair to Sam, I have to put it against that same standard, and this
Mhm.
falls really short. So I'm gonna. This is the lowest score I've given something in a while. I think this is the lowest I've given something this season. Give me a 7. I don't think it was terrible. I think there were a lot of good parts to it, but at the end of the day, I felt really disappointed when you look at it as a whole. I still think there is hope. I still think it is salvageable, but like it's definitely like not up there with Winter Soldier or First Avenger or Civil War. Like nah. Like I'm gonna stick to it. 7 out of 10. Trash. What about you?
Honestly, there's so many things that I wanted to go through with that I just haven't had the chance to. Like, I was gonna say, like, basically Wakanda's antagonized the world, and they sided with Telecon, and now the whole world has adamantium that can basically go through anything that they could do. So Wakanda's basically screwed. And not to mention, like, they just let Sam keep his even though Ross doesn't want him snooping around, they let him keep his stuff. When even with Steve, like, they took away his shield and everything, and he was actually on the run.
Yeah, that was Ronan.
That's where we got the Ronin suit.
Yeah, that was Ronan.
Yeah, exactly. So that was weird. Also, where was Sternin being during the blip? He could have easily just left with all the chaos. So I guess he was just like sitting in there.
Or maybe he got blipped. Maybe he got blipped.
Yeah, but I mean, Japan was literally willing to go to declare world war because they didn't understand anything, and they could have easily just explained the situation, and they were just unnecessarily antagonistic.
Everybody
hard-headed.
Everybody was just unwilling to have conversations.
And they already know how angry Ross can get, but he keeps on like antagonizing them, even though Ross could easily just throw nukes at them again, and they don't even have any like they basically don't have a navy without the United States.
Yep.
I don't know, like, Sam got places too fast. During the scene where what's her name? She has a really stupid last name.
Ruth.
The Black Widow girl.
Yeah, Ruth.
Ruth, get out of here or something like that. Because she has a really stupid last name. I just can't remember what it was. But
Ruth Bath-Sarath.
What was it?
Ruth Bath-Sarath.
Betsarath. There we go.
Betsarath. There we go.
Betsarath. And like basically like, there was that time where she could have easily stopped the other innocent people from getting killed, like the Secret Serviceman from the other guy that she was with.
Oh yeah.
Like, when he was talking to what's his name, the bad guy, Sidewinder, he says that he could commute a sentence basically, and I don't think Falcon has the power to do that.
No.
There were times where Sam was able to walk through security to get to the president when he shouldn't have been able to.
Well, that was more of just a Captain America flex. Just
I know, but
Steve could do that too.
Also, we didn't address it though, but his friend on the inside that was Secret Service, which
but
apparently
even then, like,
in the comics she's supposed to be Sam's love interest, but I didn't get that vibe. I got more of like a familial vibe.
I didn't get that vibe. I was also confused, like, you know, like, she was kind of just there.
Yeah, she just existed.
I was very confused because I was like, huh, okay, you're just Ross's aide, I guess. Huh. He was like, I remember he was dating Misty Knight last time I saw it, but oh well.
But yeah, just those were some just random things that I wrote down that I wanted to get off my chest because it just bothered me a lot. So when it comes to that, this movie, from being constantly trying to tell me that he's Captain America when he's obviously not yet, and just how I don't know, it felt weird. Like, the only part that I actually did like was the Ross stuff, like Jay.
Yeah. The Ross stuff was very strong.
Like, it didn't destroy the world because there wasn't like a freaking multiversal threat in this one. So it didn't really destroy the whole like thing. And also, end credits scene, I don't know if that's okay to talk about.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, but so basically he just says there's multiverse, and we already knew that, so it was kind of like there's no reason to go see it, wait for that. But anyways.
Yeah, the way I see it though, Trash, it's for the characters in the main MCU universe to kind of get an idea. Yeah, us, the fans. I get what I get your perspective, Trash. I get it.
Yeah, us the fans know, but the rest of the Marvel universe didn't.
Yeah, but also,
I mean, doesn't Spider-Man know? And doesn't Doctor Strange know?
Yeah, well, Doctor Strange does.
Yeah, Doctor Strange does, because he mind whammied everybody to forget Spider-Man's identity. So yeah, Peter knows, but the Marvel universe doesn't fully know.
I get also to Trash's benefit here is this, unlike other MCU films, this only had one post-credit, and you're gonna spend that one post-credits to basically tell the characters what the audience already knows.
Yeah, that is a waste of time. I definitely feel you on that.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate of why they try to do that post-credit scene.
No, yeah,
No,
that's
it's
I
great.
get it.
And I'm actually glad you talk about it. Like, I appreciate it. It's nice to have
Yeah.
some pushback a little bit.
Yeah, and I try to, what I normally do is try to get with the bigger picture, bigger angles of some things to the best of my ability to kind of understand that's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So trying to like help in that direction, even though it may come off as a bit weird, speaking from my perspective.
But yeah, so what's your final rating, Trash?
Honestly, it's probably because of the aforementioned things, and it didn't destroy the whole base. I'd still give it a 4.
All right.
Mostly because 5 is an average film, and this was definitely below average. But I cannot give it. I don't think I could give it. I don't think I would give it anything lower than that, just because it didn't like infuriate me to the point like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and destroy the world building, because it was relatively self-contained, and like it's just a movie that honestly I could forget.
That's fair.
So I have to say like I just give it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tony, what do you, and then we'll end with Brian.
Well, really thinking about it, I'll be right there with you, Jay, and I would give it a 7.
Okay.
Because, like, trying to follow through with our normal rules that we try to look for things that we enjoy, because getting negative reviews out there is just not going to be.
Yeah. It's just not. It just doesn't feel as productive.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a very 7 movie.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's like on the level of a like 6, like, between 5 and 6. Like Trash is right. It's close to a middle of the road film, which Trash found more problems in it, and that's his opinion to find those, and those opinions are valid. But I'm saying, yeah, it's a 7. With everything we talked about, it made me really think, yeah, this is a 7 of a film if I've ever seen.
So Brian, final thoughts and rating.
So yeah, overall though, like you said, I think that it was, for me at least, it was enjoyable overall. It had some really good action scenes and just a fun ride overall. It was kind of weird that that most of the pathos came from 2 over 50-year-old men.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because all the interesting stuff was either Isaiah or Ross.
Yeah. And there were missing characters and characters that didn't need to be there. But overall, I did enjoy it. Not as much as, like you said, the previous Cap trilogy, but more than some of the stuff that Marvel has been putting out lately. And one other thing that I will say in its favor that I like is the fact that for once in what seems to be a while, we had a villain that both survived and was just pure evil.
Oh yeah.
Now, was his plan great? No, but the fact that he didn't, die.
Oh yeah, I do appreciate that the leader was not
Or be
sympathetic.
redeemed.
Like we had Ross for the sympathy. We didn't. I like that the leader was completely unsympathetic. Yeah, I'm with you
Also,
there.
one other thing I liked was that he wasn't just another super soldier, and he also just didn't have the same set of powers as Falcon. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and also with Ross, I did appreciate the fact that even though he was sympathetic, they still didn't try to make him like God.
Oh yeah. He still had to take accountability, and also again just to add more positive, so we don't end on a sour note. I really like Rolk. It's weird that Thunderbolt Ross's role feels more like classic Hulk than Bruce Banner.
Yes,
because
I agree with that.
His role shows that classic Hulk duality of the man trying to make a better make a change in the world and do good, and then having that monster who
I do
all about
appreciate.
destruction.
Yep,
Mhm.
and I do appreciate the fact that they did keep him to comic book accurate by adding the fire stuff.
Yeah, the heat. Yeah,
Yeah.
the release
Which-
of the excess heat stuff.
Which, by the way, just as a side note, Ruth's name is kind of hitchy, but that is actually her name in the comic.
Yeah,
So,
Rebecca.
Okay.
honestly, I
Yeah.
kind of figured, but still, it's just silly to me.
well, comics are a bit silly
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah,
For
But,
sure.
but anyway, overall, back to the scores. I think we're going back to how the season started, and unanimous for the main trio. I think I'm giving it a 7-2.
Okay.
okay.
All right. Well, that wraps up our main discussion. Thank you again, Trash, for joining us. This
Yeah.
was fun, as always. I like that we were able to have differing opinions, but also just genuinely be respectful, and not that I was expecting you to be disrespectful or anything, but like it's always nice to be able to have a civil conversation even though we disagree. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, because that's something that a lot of people are missing. Like, that's the one thing is that when people say this is the worst Marvel film, it's absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I still give that towards the Eternals.
That's the thing that pissed me off, is that so many people are like, "Oh, this is so bad. This is terrible." I'm like, did you guys not see Eternals? Like, this is not bad. This is not that bad. There are some good parts to it, y'all.
And I was gonna say the leader in this film is not a great villain, but he is better than some of them. Like,
and also
what the fuck's her face in the Marvels?
And also personally, I feel like the issue that a lot of people have with Marvel movies nowadays is that they're setting the bar to fucking Endgame, and like that's not fair.
Yeah, and also here's the thing:
have some mad unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely, but did this movie actually succeed in what it was trying to do? Partially, yeah.
Partially.
I don't believe it did, but then again, that's just the opinions.
I feel like it dropped the ball on its biggest thing, like, again, with proving Sam's worth. But the Ross stuff I felt was very, very good. Like,
yeah, that's why I said partially. And plus, a mediocre Captain America film can potentially lead to a great Captain America film. We don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the things I do know is that after sitting through Eternals, I would much rather take a mediocre film than a film that wants to be too damn artsy for its own good.
Yeah, at least one thing you can say, even if you didn't like Captain America, it was not boring. Like, I never found myself bored throughout the movie.
I did, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, well,
because me and my mom fell asleep on it. Almost fell asleep.
Which that is one thing that people forget is things are like assholes. Everybody has their own.
Yep, and they all.
Yep.
But I'm glad that you guys were able to find some enjoyment out of it. That's the most important part for me.
Oh yeah, like we kind of have made it kind of a mission statement to, because there are so many like channels out there who kind of just like thrive off of fucking hating on everything. We make it our mission with this show to like mostly focus on the good, because like it's just exhausting to fucking
We tried that before. Like Jay and I have mentioned this numerous times, but we went through a period where it was in the YouTube live days, we're trying to everything that Netflix Marvel put out. So we were covering Iron Fist season 1, even though we really didn't like it, and we recorded this whole review, 3 hours. We were getting sleepy by the end because we were so exhausted, and then we saw, oh shit, we never actually hit the record button.
Yeah, we never actually hit record, and it was just like.
And Jay was like, "Fuck it, I'm not.
I'm not doing that again."
And I was like, and even I was like, "Yeah, no."
Look, it takes way too much energy to fucking hate on something, to point out all the flaws and yell and get angry about it. It's not gonna do anything. Like,
Absolutely.
Just fucking look for the good and stuff, and you'll have a much better day.
Yeah, and there is good things to like about in this movie. Sure, is it bunched in with a bunch of surplus or nonsense? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but
this is objectively the worst Captain America film. No question.
Oh, absolutely.
No question.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's comparing it to like all those other ones, including Civil War.
Oh yeah, I still say Winter Soldier is the best MCU film, period.
Yes.
I honestly think Infinity War is probably the best, but I also really like Civil War, and I feel like Civil War is the best Black Panther and the best Spider-Man film.
Oh, but Civil War is definitely the Spider-Man film. Civil War is where Spider-Man got to be the most Spider-Man, and he wasn't poisoned by Tony Stark's propaganda.
But
and I would disagree with you to agree, at least this is my personal preference, that I think First Avenger is the best Captain America film, at least to me.
I could understand that though.
No,
it's really nice.
First Avenger, I think, is the best origin film.
Absolutely.
Oh, I agree.
I personally think that Winter Soldier is the best, but both Winter Soldier and First Avenger are probably in my top 5 MCU.
Oh yeah. The reason that I really like Winter Soldier is just how well it fleshed out Steve's character and his turmoil of fighting against his government, and also how well it fleshed out Nat's character, who was a nothing burger of a character until that movie, and she became amazing.
Let's be honest, she was eye candy up until that point.
Yeah, she was just a nice ass and tight pants. Regardless, easily the worst Captain America film, but that's because the other Captain America movies were awesome. Were just out of this world. I still have hope for you, Sam. I believe in you.
As do I. I really want to see Sam do great, and I really want to see him fleshed out and actually get the truly find the niche of his own, like Miles.
I hope that leading the Avengers will be that thing for him. Because in the comics he does a really good job as the field leader for the Avengers, and I think this could be a good place for him to shine.
And I think
because we see a little glimpse of that with how he's led Joaquin, and how he's helped Joaquin grow as a young hero, and
also how he dealt with the soldiers.
We could have actually gotten a better Sam movie. We had a lot of good pieces here that just weren't utilized properly.
And you know what? When all the difference in the world to make Sam really his own Captain America, what should be done if he finally fought the fucking Serpent Society?
Yep.
Yeah, which Giancarlo Esposito did let it slip that this isn't the only thing that he was contracted to. He also indicated that he might be in a series.
Oh, okay, interesting. So that's it for our Captain America discussion. Brian, why don't you tell the lovely folks at home what we will be covering next week? What any possible neighborhoods we'll be heading to?
Well, as the leader said in the post credit, there is a multiverse out there, and we will be traveling the Marvel multiverse to, like Jay said, a certain friendly neighborhood to discuss the animated show Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Which, if you've been listening to any of our previous screen times where I've just been talking vaguely about it without giving full reviews, I've really enjoyed this show. This show is great. It had a very, very shaky start, but man, am I here for it.
As am I.
It's been great, and the last bit drops today as of recording this, and I'm so excited to see how it ends.
Because I need to know how this ends. I need to know.
I want to see how Lonnie Lincoln is gonna break my fucking heart.
Are you gonna stay up the extra 3 hours?
No, I'm going to go to bed like a normal person and just watch it when I wake up.
Because unfortunately for us, due to the time zone, it comes out 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so I'm not doing all that. I'm gonna watch it when I wake up. But I'm really invested. I cannot wait to see how Lonnie Lincoln breaks my heart. Cause man, am I invested in that storyline in particular. But we will have a lot to discuss with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm so excited to be able to fucking positively talk about a Spider-Man related thing that's not Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman. Which, by the way, if you want a good Spider-Man comic that isn't about Spider-Man being a nihilist and giving up on everything like a loser,
or getting cucked,
or any of that other bullshit that's going on, read Ultimate Spider-Man. He's great. He's got a wife and kids. He's got the powers. Everything's dope. Read it. Go read it. It is the best Spider-Man story on the shelves. Ultimate Spider-Man is the best. I will get to espouse more of my love for the wall crawler next week. But until then, we'll catch you guys later. Peace.